Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Seeds Cardinal League. My name is Sticula. I am joined by the ever wonderful Chief in the casting booth. We've got a great game ahead of us. Going to be heading to Clubhouse. Been a little while since we've casted together, Chief. Had a little bit of a brief little hiatus there, but we're once again reunited. How are you tonight?
I am doing wonderful, and we're going to be doing battle on the mic just like these two teams will be here on Clubhouse. And a quick highlight to our observer, his name is First Knight of Knee. He's one of our best producers and observers, so quick shout out to him. But let's dive back into this match, and that's a one-sided community vote, to say the least.
Yeah, it seems like Troll Team 6 are pretty heavily favored here, and I have to agree. I mean, if you take a look at the standings, even though we are only 3 weeks in, Troll Team are far ahead of Front. They are sitting currently at a 1-1-0 scoreline. They were able to take a victory, though in the very first week they did draw. I believe it was against Sea-Law, so unfortunate there, but Front have not had even close to the same success, losing twice so far. They're going to be playing and coming into this game with the mindset of trying to improve their record, and Troll Team 6 are going to be the guardians standing in the way of that path to victory.
Now, that being said, I want to highlight a player on Team Front, and his name is MT. He's sitting at a 1.00 cost rating, so a perfectly even cost. He is the only player in SCL to have anything close to that. All the players are in the lobby, and we are ready to go here on Clubhouse. Now, we've seen some turmoil coming through the ban phase, starting in T1, trickling down to us here in T3. So, will we see the Maverick? Will we see the Thatcher continue to be banned? Or will we see these new secondary and tertiary bans start rolling through, just like the Pro League teams have done? Monkey see, monkey do. That's what happens here in competitive Rainbow Six Siege. Final deliberations roll on through, but it's going to be Thatcher. We're going to have to see if his mate, Mav, will be banned, though.
Yeah, it's a great point to bring up. Thatcher, super commonly banned here on Clubhouse, so not totally surprising to see him go away. Firstly, you mentioned the Maverick, often found banned in conjunction with Thatcher. We'll be waiting as the clock ticks down, and it will be. Called it just right, the Maverick off the board, and so hard breaching is going to be left up to the trio of Kali, Hibana, and Thermite.
Now, we have seen some bans where we had Thatcher Thermites left unbanned. They were like the OG days back when I first started playing comp, but it's going to be Cade removed as well. An extremely sensible ban, given the fact that you can place them in so many indestructible places. And if you're going to be relying on a Kali, well, she can't detonate those, sadly. More deliberation rolling on through. Will it be a Mira, or will it be some type of utility destruction? No, it's going to be wrong completely. It's going to be a Valkyrie, so information denial.
Seeing the Valkyrie get banned out here is a little bit surprising, you could say. I mean, Valkyrie, she's got a ton of potential as one of those great intel operators. She can really provide that do or die information that can swing the course of rounds oh so much. You talked about the Cade being banned out here, and seeing that come out, especially with a Thatcher, doesn't surprise me one bit. Thatcher and Cade being banned together is honestly almost an inseparable pair. Dealing with a Cade Electroclaw when you don't have Thatcher on the board can just be so incredibly difficult. Even when you have a Thatcher on the board, I've seen some crazy tricks come out, crazy individual plays from Cade, and as well as, you know, that intel, or rather that utility that he's got. He's also got the TCSG, which in the right hands can be an incredibly powerful gun.
Now we're going to be starting on the tertiary bomb site, and that will be facilitated by Nicolo on his 3 barricades. And if you're newer to Rainbow Six Siege, he has these bulletproof barricades that you can place on doors and windows, and bullets will not go through them. So it's going to be a requirement of the attackers to either destroy them with explosives or a potential sledgehammer that we currently see in play. Now the whole goal of this setup is to basically burn as much hard breaching as possible. You're going to have to do a two-pronged attack, one from the west, one from the east, splitting those hard breachers up as such. And if you can burn one thermite charge as well as all 3 X-Pyros early on, that's going to hinder the attackers greatly. And I want to quickly return back to that Valkyrie ban. We saw her ban actually a lot when that one quarantine happened to Echo. So maybe this is just kind of pulling over from that, but the horses are out of the gate. So let's begin here on Clubhouse.
Surprising to see we'll be heading first to Jim. You talked about the operator composition coming out here from Troll Team 6, and one other thing that's a little bit unusual to see is the lack of a Mira. I feel like when Mira goes unbanned, to see her played on Jim defense is not too it's almost, you know, more than common. I mean, Mira can really provide a ton of utility. I guess it kind of comes down to the team and your want to be playing Mira. Invictus going to start things off here, holding through the window on the upside down. Repel will claim the life of Rim 1. Your Jaeger going down oh so early is definitely not going to be helpful once we get further down in the round. Though Nicolo is going to trade things back. A great headshot to get the refrag there with the UMP.
Retreating back to upstairs bathroom. That's going to be Derek creating his own bunker, and that's going to happen because of that west jacuzzi wall being opened up. He also has his Wamai pancakes to help fortify his position more, but we're soon going to see a lot of utility flying his way, so he's going to have to bury his head and take cover. And here comes a stream of utility, but that's actually getting shut down by his Wamai pancakes that were still outside of his personalized bunker. 60 seconds left in the round. The attackers have to start to expedite if they want to be successful here in round number 1.
Speeding things up here and getting prepared for the execute, definitely going to be a core tenet of a successful offensive round. Joe trading blows with Taylor, both taking a significant amount of damage. Taylor, though, is sitting on just about 1 health, so he has a tiny bit of advantage. Joe, despite his low health, will tap the head of Nicolo. Getting a very late refrag. MT claims 1, MT claims 2 with Iana on that G36 as the diffuser is successful. Yazers to claim the final kill, and Team Front, they clean things up nicely to claim round number 1.
Hardly any hope left in this round when that poor Mute was stuck on his own personal island, but it was far from heaven as there were 4 barrels trained in his vicinity, and the off-site pick of going to the tertiary bomb site, while it was brilliant, it sadly just didn't work in favor of the defensive lineup. So we're going to have to see if they start to change up their pacing, and that's exactly what's going to happen in round number 2. It's going to be a more traditional pick, and we're going to be moving over to CCTV side, and it's going to be coupled with a bandit. Now, this is going to require the attackers to utilize some type of vertical destruction. There are 4 sets of grenades as well as those Zofia breaching launchers. So that's plenty of soft destruction that's going to come underneath. So Bandit is going to have to be wary. And just judging by the setup, I almost believe Bandit tricking is going to be useless because of all the things that are being flying in his direction. And also, I want to highlight the Iana pick. Iana has seen a complete change of pace because she brings so much extra information. She's basically increasing her entire drone economy by 50 to 70%. And in a game like Siege, when you lose 1 drone, 50% of your drone economy taken off the board, she can be a radical operator, to say the least.
You talked about in the pregame phase how consistent of a player MT is, and I mean, he's just proving that true, getting a nice double kill, starting us off here on Clubhouse. Ultimately, I think this is the right decision to make for Troll Team. Had a little bit of a struggle on that first defense, even though they were able to open it up with the first pick. We did see it get traded out pretty quickly. Things didn't look too hot for them on this round. An opportunity to reclaim themselves. We've got a defender sitting here inside of blue waiting for an opportunity to strike. It'll be Nicolo, though. He chooses to rotate out. Seems like he's clued into the fact that the offense are beginning to drone out his position.
Joe was flirting with death there, and it was almost a misplay. He exposed his entire body to that window, but fortunately for him, Nicolo was not looking for a gunfight. His sole goal was to waste time and grab as many drones as possible. Now comes a real denial setup coming out by Troll Team. They're going to put Remy over here on the Garage Raptors, and this is going to be his hill to die on as a Nitro Soul gets sent out, but it's going to deal no damage to Simi as there's a player of Invictus is down. MT is going to attack onto the board and opening up the kills. He's going to try to find another kill. Yaris is going to get aggressive too, but Nicolo is going to shut that down. And here we go. 100 seconds left in this round, and players are already beginning to drop.
We'll see MT once again able to claim a kill and get away with his life, not even taking any damage, I don't think, in that first engagement here. Looks like Team Front come out of this initial mid-round phase a little bit worse for wear. The kills, the lives remaining on the board for both teams are currently equal, but Invictus as well as Simi have taken a big portion of damage, and that's going to put them incredibly closer to death, especially Invictus. He's not even on 20 health, so he's really going to be running a big risk. Nicolo will answer, though, even taking down Joe. Your Habata player goes off the board without really making any good usage of her utility. Getting into construction and getting the wall open, going to be a difficult prospect with 40 seconds and only your thermite left for hard breach.
It's definitely not undoable, but they're going to get aggressive. Nicolo's going to find his third and a fourth kill in this round. It's going to be MT. What he's going to shop the ace potential, but he still has a big hill to climb. He's going to have to find a quad kill of his own if he wants to be successful. But 20 seconds left, time's dwindling, but when you can hit shots like that, time may not be that big of a factor. Grenade is going to be pulled and sent in the vicinity of Derek, but the rush happens. It'll be Taylor finishing off what was left of MT. A valiant attempt, but sadly not enough time to complete.
Incredible risky play there from Nicolo playing on the Mozzie. Ultimately, though, he was rewarded. Pushing into construction. The offense, they simply weren't prepared. It was kind of an awkward situation there. We saw somebody standing just left of the door going into Master, but somehow, some way, I don't think they realized that the Mozzie had been able to sneak in. He garnered so many kills and really swung the course around. Troll Team 6, they answer back with a round win on CCTV and head down to Church and Arsenal.
I just want to highlight MT's final kill there on Jaeger. To understand, his map awareness was completely brilliant. He knew that there's a player sitting on that 1 pixel angle right on the side of construction. That's a very common angle to play, sure, but it takes so much skill to know that, as well as hit that shot, because it's only about a pixel that you see. So great sense as well as mechanical skill coming out from MT, and that's exactly what we expect out of a player that has an even cost rating, as well as an overall rating of a 1.38, the highest in this lobby. But let's move back over to round number 3, where we're going to see a basement set up, and Derek's going to be bringing an additional 2 shields onto those Goyos. But the thing about those shields are they explode when shot in the back, so that's going to delay more time, and especially given the fact that Team Front was so slow on their execute in the dying seconds of that round, that's probably exactly what Troll Team 6 needs to waste much time, and Goyo's the perfect operator for that.
Really one of those core pillars of the 20-second meta we see play out so often. So to have the Goyo in play here on Arsenal, good to see, and I think is really a strong hallmark here. We've got a little bit of a residual presence on the first floor. I think they are going to be clearing out, now rotating back to site. So nobody caught off early here. Maybe a tiny bit of time wasted, though. I don't think it will be really too much of an effect. Overall, we've got a little bit of a barricade jungle here inside of Kitchen, locking off the freezer. I'm not sure if that's something to do with baiting out nitros. We only have really the possibility for one here, and that would be from Derek. So a little bit less. We've seen this strategy before, and honestly, I think it was Troll Team. They really like to play with this rotation open through the church wall, and frankly, from the VODs that I've seen them use this strategy, it's been pretty effective, and I can't really knock them for using it again here. We'll have to wait and see what Team Front tries to come up with in order to stop it, but a great innovative strategy I've talked so much about. Glad to see it come up once again here on Clubhouse.
Now, the defense elected to relinquish all of the second and third floor, which is allowing the attackers to set up their execute pretty well. They're doing their vertical destruction, trying to funnel the defense into locations that they aren't comfortable with. But that's the thing about the basement site. There isn't a lot of soft destruction. All the soft destruction is basically in those hallways and connectors. So you're essentially cutting the site in half, which means the attackers are going to have to dictate where they want to go based on their soft destruction as well as their mid-round droning. And that's going to be on the back of MT, who's going to use his frag grenades as well as his holograms to grab as much information as possible. But those will my pank to stop his plan, as both of his frag grenades are caught up and spit out, not with his desired target. An engagement's gonna happen. Victus is gonna find a nice kill. That's gonna be your opening, as well as Simi getting that south side wall. Here comes the execute and the potential plant.
Will be the Thermite getting that diffuser down. MT is still popping off in this round, dropping down the hatch. He's able to get Maestro. There's 2 defenders left here for him to shut down. It'll be Simi able to find one. MT with another one. Team Front do a great job shutting down this strategy from Troll Team. What a round, ending it flawlessly here. They go up 2-1.
That's the problem when you find yourself only in the basement. There is not enough time to waste, so that the attacking lineup sets up and executes flawlessly. That's the one thing that the SSG style roam did very well. It wasted time and it wasted that drone economy. Now, where will the defense go? Their technical primary bomb site was Jim, which was just trying to throw the pace off, and it sadly worked or did not work out in their favor. But they're going to be returning back over to basement. And I'm not always the biggest fan of going back-to-back sites unless you can diagnose exactly where your strategy went wrong and how you're going to interact and counter that out here in this round. But it looks like it's going to be a different operator lining up coming out by Troll Team 6. It's going to be an exaggerated roam, not quite the SSG style roam, but it's still going to waste drone economy.
This is a great change, a overall incredibly strong adaptation. I really like to see this year from Troll Team. They saw in the last round that when they attempted what is frankly a turtle strat on site, Team Front, they just suffocated them. They did a great job, closed down every possible angle. We've seen so much how Troll Team 6, they like to play with that church wall open. In Team Front, they really exploited it as much as possible, and I think Troll Team, seeing that now, are going to look to make a change. We'll see them, instead of playing the rotation open, they choose to do the default strategy of simply reinforcing all 3 of the church walls, and now going for a little bit of a roam, the right decision to make here. We'll see Rim 1 comes up the main stairs so he can get into position. Might even try to contest the drones a little bit. Seemed like Invictus was aware of the position, though chooses ultimately not to make the engagement.
But here's the thing, MT's going to have those holograms to at least bypass those little Mozzie spider pests. So that's one thing that Team Front has going in their favor. And that's honestly a curious decision coming out by TT6. They know that MT's been running this operator in all 3 of the previous rounds. So maybe that's almost a mistake to try to bring up a lineup exactly like this. But it is a breath of fresh air that TT6 needed. So maybe I shouldn't be working, as 60 seconds has already been wasted, and the attackers really doesn't have a lot of real estate in their name. Some vertical holes have been created by the defense to prevent anybody from entering the Logi hatch, and we can see operators looming in that vicinity, just waiting for some type of audio cue to get aggressive and try to get those frags.
Bonnet going to begin the process of opening up the kitchen hatch here, though I think it will be impacted. So slowing that down a little bit. It'll be Taylor on the task here, sitting below. Tosses again out the impact and shuts down all of the Hibana pellets. I think she tosses a third set onto the hatch, so a little bit of time wasted. The ultimate first pick will go to the Vigil. I think he's inside of Strip Club, and him not being cleared, he's actually in mid-bar. So what a strange position they're just allowing him to play in here, and it doesn't seem like the close-in is really all too successful. Sledge still in the midst of opening up the vertical angles here. Rem 1 could easily flank and get a great pick to build upon the man advantage the Troll team have already established.
Sledge is flirting with death, but that KA1's going to give away his position and confirm that Invictus was almost nearly dead. And here comes an awkward engagement. Simi's going to spot the one in New Blue Stairs, but they're just going to continue this time-wasting strategy. Nicolo's going to find another one that's Invictus off the board. The man that survived for so long in the face of danger, and the attackers are going to have to start to move now if they want to be successful, but there's only 2 of them left, and Simi is stuck in Dirt Tunnel. He's not going to be able to leave as a Slasher just waiting for him to get aggressive and push out, and that's exactly what happens. Slasher lands the headshot.
What a close round here. I think they only dropped a single man. I didn't exactly keep count there, but it seemed like at any opportunity, Team Front just got shut down. Not clearing out the Vigil Realm definitely hurt them a ton. He was just, allowed to flank out of nowhere. He caught the offense completely off guard. It didn't seem like they were really prepared at all to try to deal with that, and ultimately, I think that's something you cannot allow to let happen. In some rounds, it seems like Team Front are completely in control. We saw them attack the basement and win flawlessly, but then take such a devastating loss like that. It's quite strange to see them be so successful and then just fall from grace like that into a terrible round. 2 done on the board for Troll team as well as 2 for Front. We're even right now as we head into round number 5. And I think Team Front need to pick it up a little bit if they're going to find a 3-3 half. It would be a good position overall for them on the side switch to then go over to the defense. We'll have to wait and see what happens. We've got 2 rounds left to see what TV. They actually switched bomb sites. A little bit of a last-second decision there. But maybe this is the right one to make.
The reverse Uno card upon the casters. Now, Team Front looks very confident in the rounds that they set the pace, but the strategy that was brought out in round number 4 by Troll Team 6 basically was designed to hinder Team Front's creating their own pace and their own rhythm. And that's what happens when you bring a Vigil, a Mute, and a Mozzie, completely shutting down the drone game. Even when you have 5 to 7 extra holograms, it still is not enough to counter it, as Nicolo is going to get aggressive. Invictus's bad micro position is going to be his undoing, and those frag grenades will be relinquished for free. You definitely do not need to hit that barricade with the sledgehammer. It's so much safer to melee it from the side, and unfortunately, Invictus is going to learn that lesson the hard way. Now those frag grenades will not be utilized for that vertical destruction to get rid of the bandit charges that are currently on the east wall. Fortunately, though, if you're a fan of Team Front, there's 2 more, but they're not in effect anymore, as Daddy Derek jinxes me. And I guess that's exactly how this round is going to pan out. 2 bodies already surrendered on the side of TF.
So unless in the next couple of seconds we see Derek get traded out, I think that will unfortunately be MT's flawless KOST going away. Unfortunate for him, though it's hard to keep a perfect stat around like that for too long. Losing 2 men early here, especially with what I would say kind of unusual kills. I mean, Derek was just sitting next to the window with a shotgun hole open. I think he was kind of confused. Rem 1 able to find another one. We might see Nicolo add on and find the double kill. He's contesting with the Hibana, who took a little bit of damage in this engagement, and in fact, he will be rewarded. So, Troll Team 6, it's a 5-1, leaving everything up to the Thermite, and they answer that last round with an even better improvement, winning it flawlessly on number 5. It's 3-2. how do you answer back to such a devastating loss like that?
Well, you're going to have to coordinate amongst yourselves. And that's actually the problem that happened with Team Front. It looked like there was no coordination. There was no droning in. And we just saw MT yeet himself through a gem window with no drone presence whatsoever. And that's a big mistake, especially coming back from the team that had a perfect droning round in round number 3. So what happened in that pace of that round? Mozzie and Mute were brought in the previous round. So maybe that's it, but I don't think that's the bigger picture. I think Team Front was just starting to get ahead of themselves. They're starting to rush their mental checklist, and that's something that you can't do, especially a map where you have so many hard walls that you have to open up, and mistakes will start to compound. A map like Coastline, on the other hand, you can start to lose operators like a Thermite, which probably wouldn't be brought in the first place, but a Habana early on if you were still on that clubhouse or consulate. Oh my lord, the 3 Bren cells are starting to get discombobulated. Coastline, pardon me, if you lose a hard breacher on, you can still come back from that, but here it's really a liability at that point as soon as they get felled.
Liability is honestly a great way to put it. You cannot afford to have one of those core operators go down so early on such a very thought-out, strat-heavy map like Clubhouse. It puts so much pressure on the shoulders of the rest of your team to be forced to completely think outside of the box. I mean, when you're coming into rounds like these off in the prep phase, you're thinking, you know, okay, what is the plan? We're attacking Gem. They've got an extension into Cache, so we need to get the wall open. We need to clamp down on control of CCTV, and that way we can force all of the defense back to the site and play at default. But if you lose a Thermite incredibly early here, I mean, that'll just remove one possibility of, you know, an avenue into sight. Say your Thermite goes down and then you can't get in through Jacuzzi balcony. What are you going to do then? Force in through the east side? That's not exactly the most well thought out plan. And you're going to get punished by a smart team, especially with how aggressive Troll Team are playing. Any opportunity that Team Front are giving them to take an advantage, they are claiming it with an incredible swiftness.
And that's exactly what you need. You need to be quick on your executes, and forcing away the offsite pressure on the Cache side is exactly what you need to do if you're a fan of Team Front. But they still have a big hurdle to climb, and the next goal is going to be opening up that west wall and trying to pinch the defense back into the site and to be in positions where they don't want to be. You're also going to have to remove Remy, who finds himself on top of the master bedroom, utilizing that shield and trying to prevent any aggression coming by the attackers if they wide swing those south windows. But it's going to be Taylor rotating back into Cache. What that's going to be his undoing. Now he has wasted 90 seconds, so his goal has more or less been accomplished, but the attackers are going to have to start moving forward if they want to be successful.
Good opening kill there to set the pace. Ultimately, Taylor attempting to take the engagement with the Habana. Joe was rewarded with a pick. In the meantime, we've actually seen the Jacuzzi wall get opened up. So this gives them a great lane to push in through and is going to begin to mount the pressure. We'll see Invictus tosses a grenade, though it does get absorbed by the Wamai Magnet. The shield broken anyway. This punch hole being played. Invictus barely escapes there. A close one. The castle even still trying to peek this. An aggressive play. He actually wins the gunfight. Wow. A rare miss there from MT, and Nicolo is rewarded, though, traded back by Yazzers. It's a 3-4 right now. Man advantage for the side of Team Front, but time is getting incredibly low. We're sitting at 20 seconds. The Sledge peeking, trying to make an engagement. The Thermite going down here. Derek trading it back. Slasher with one, though ultimately not able to find the second one. The kills are equalized. Diffuser control is regained, though Derek with that Keratos 357 revolver is able to find one. Joe, the attackers, what just happened? Huh? They fumbled it anyway. How did Team Front come out on top of that there? I thought we had just seen Troll Team 6 close it out with no chance of a win, but things clearly changed.
A heartbreaker round 6, but we're going to be moving over to round number 7, so everything that happened in that first half can be forgotten about because we're going to have that side swap, and it's going to be that double hard breach meta coming out by the new attacking lineup of Troll Team 6. But here in round number 6, we did find a unique thing happen, and that was the attackers get early control, but then sacrifice the diffuser on that second floor bathroom. And that's a dangerous place to have it. It's almost impossible to recover, but perfect coordination, perfect synergy coming out by Team Front to come back from that definite deficit, even though they found themselves in control of that round, at least from a man perspective. But here we go. Round number 7. How will the attackers elect to set their own pace? And if they take anything out of the side of Team Front, it's the attackers, when they set their own pace, tend to win the round.
So, with the switch of the sides here, Team Front are going to be given an opportunity to show their defensive prowess, ending the half 3-3 with what was quite a chaotic previous round here. They're in a decent position, and I think if they find a lot of success here on the defense, we could be staring down the barrel of a 7-3, 7-4 win. We'll have to wait, though. We've still got 4 rounds until the possibility of a win will come to fruition for either team. A little bit of an extended roam here, not quite the full SSG roam, the castle clearly not present, but the Mozzie, the Amai, and the Mute, as well as the Smoke and the Maestro, will combine to form our lineup here in what is going to clearly be a very long and drawn out round.
I'm hoping this whole game gets kind of drawn out. I would love to see all 12 rounds be brought, and starting off with a 3-3 split, it's starting to look that way. But as mentioned, it's be on Troll Team 6 to set the pace of how they want to be successful here on their attacking side. And the defense has returned all of their manpower to the basement, and that's going to allow Troll Team 6 to drone out and get control of those 2 floors. But then they're going to have to actually set up their execute, and hopefully they do that with a proper amount of time. And when you still have players on the roof with 60 seconds burn, that is not good time efficiency. But the hard breach hatches are going to start to be removed, and that is one bit of your checklist getting taken away.
Starting things off here, kind of uncertain what we've got left of the roam. It looks like everybody has been able to rotate maybe back down onto site here. So they weren't able to prolong things too long, but there's still quite a large amount of utility for the side of Team Front existing on the bomb site. Nicolo taking a tiny bit of damage, though ultimately he is successful. Check out this Mozzie drone. What a spot there inside a kitchen. That's going to provide them so much utility to exist for so long, and could even see them get a nice freebie there with the Nitro Cell. I think we might have already seen one go wasted. Nicolo was the operator to take some of that damage, so will be quite a bit of utility stacked on the life of one player. Flashbang tossed out 2 flashbangs, in fact, in an attempt to push Joe out of this close position here. Rem 1 will also be working to try and contest things. With 50 seconds here, the chaos is going to begin to erupt.
The attacker find themselves in a strong position, and they still have plenty of hard breach to open up that west wall of church. And as soon as you can do that, well, you can execute upon sight, and that's the opening kill you needed. And that's going to be your Mute and your M590, who's playing close quarters, taken off the board. But here we go. Derek finds a bomb down, and it will be confirmed. Here goes the post plant. The defense is already trying to take their site back, but they're falling very short as 2 more bodies fall. It's now a 3v2 with 33 seconds left in this round. It's going to have to be a massive retake, and that's exactly what Invictus is finding. But it's going to be Yavis. He's going to be off the board. It's going to have to be the 1v3, and I'm not sure if there's any time left. His position's known, and those pre-fires are definitely going to give it away. He's stuck in this crossfire, and time is still dwindling out. The attackers are just going to delay for as long as possible. So far, those frags are just impactless, as you need 7 seconds to defuse. This round has been surrendered in a valiant attempt coming out by Invictus, but sadly, at the end of the day, he won't be able to defuse.
Quite an unusual spot to have the diffuser go down, but it looked like Troll Team 6 knew exactly what they were getting into. They had the angles correctly positioned to be ready when we saw Team Front try to go for the retake, and ultimately, though, even when we did see the flank from Invictus, He was able to get a couple of kills, but time was just too well wielded by Troll Team 6, and they were able to snuff out that round before the chance even presented itself to the defense. A close one there. The point for Team Front, though, ultimately I don't think they exploited it or really used it to their use at all. It seemed like, they had really every factor that they could possibly need in their favor, but ultimately when we got down, things completely shut down for them.
So throughout this game, I've seen a lot of vertical grips. I love your opinion. What do you think is better, vertical grip or angle grip?
Well, I think it really comes down to the gun. A lot of the times we'll see, things like the G8 kind of can be split pretty well. I'm more of a fan of the angled grip myself, trying to play it a little bit fast and loose, aggressive style. But like I mentioned, some guns are a little bit more unwieldy than other and necessitate the need for the vertical grip, but some are pretty slow to pull up to ADS, and so maybe that would be where you would want to bring the angled grip. So ultimately, I'm kind of indecisive, I guess.
I agree. It's on a case-by-case basis. But the reason I brought that up is we see a lot of Defender SMGs running those vertical grips. And honestly, those SMGs have such a quick ADS time. When you throw that angled grip on them, they ADS so darn quick. I almost think you should be running it every single time because I also have very little recoil. But at the end of the day, it comes down to personal preference. And we've seen that too at the Pro League level where we find pros running these crazy sensitivities, crazy DPIs that no human being should ever use. But when you play on that for so long, you just get used to it. But Slasher's going to take a lot of bullets to the knees, something that you can never get used to. But he's going to start to open up those castle barricades to try to push into Lounge. This extended hold downstairs by Team Front is trying to prevent the attackers from utilizing vertical destruction to try to get rid of MT's bandit batteries. They have wasted time, about 50 seconds, and that's a big deal because most attackers, they get their vertical destruction done on this site way sooner than that. So far, it's going to be a win by Troll Team, or pardon me, it's going to be Team Front, at least on the time front so far.
A good angle there from the Wamai will actually result in the Ashe player of Rim1 going down. A little bit of a slow game so far for Rim1, who has notably been very effective in some of his prior matchups. Joe able to confirm a kill, taking down the Capital of Taylor. That's a lot of utility going down. Looks like the revive assist will come in here from Rim1. He's back up and into the fight, though Slasher has actually taken a lot of damage himself. This close angle being held here by Invictus is definitely going to be in his favor, with so little health for Rim1, actually, who decides to rotate rather than take the fight. Not going to be in a too great of a spot overall. We'll see things begin to slow down here compared to the previous earlier engagement. So Thermite, it'll be Derek opening up the construction wall. We'll see 3 of the attack prepared for this push. Nicolo on the Habana looks to take the first engagement, flashing it out and going for a little bit of a spam shot. Ultimately not rewarded just yet. We've seen him do a lot in a quick amount of time, though, so it's hard to count him out yet. Slasher with a nice refrag as well to add on.
It was the SMG-11 in hand. The attackers are trying to bring this back, and that's exactly what they needed to do that. The attackers find themselves in control, but it's going to be Slasher finding himself down, but not out. Currently in a position that cannot be res, and it's going to be another attacker falls. That's Remy1. He's no longer in, and oh no, Yaz is going to find the player that was down and eventually confirmed it. He was looking directly at him, but just playing with his food. It's going to be your double hard breacher stuck in this impossible circumstance. It's going to be the vault in, but now it's just Nicolo. He has the SMG-11 in hand, or the SMG, but it's not going to work out for him as a Invictus finishing him off. The Bearing 9, just not enough ammo in this particular case.
So a pretty unusual round there. That vertical extension, which we normally see go above a site, will actually be a sub-vertical extension going below, trying to hold Lounge. I've seen that have a little bit of a rise in popularity recently, especially considering, Clubhouse is starting to get pretty used up in terms of what we've got for strategy, so teams are trying to pull things out. Definitely Troll Team 6 and the side of Team Front playmakers and leaders, you could say, in trying to do a little bit of what's necessary, changing up your strategies. We saw that ultimately have mixed success. I think it did a lot of work in dealing early damage to the offense, which we saw. I mean, players going down and just sitting there in the DBNO state for so long at the end round there, as well as the time that it was able to chip off the clock. Great job from them. We will now be heading, though, downstairs to the basement. We saw last time this was attempted by Team Front. It was a pretty dominant victory for Troll Team. So maybe we're going to be looking to see things change up in this round or repeat history and have a very similar result.
I actually want to highlight that previous round. It wasted 6 flashbangs, 2 sets of grenades, as well as 1 Ash breaching charge, and Ash died with her others. Honestly, I would consider that a win, no matter what the outcome was. And that's exactly what you should be doing when you are creating strategies, trying to kill as much utility as possible. And if you can also kill a player as well as damage a player in the process, that just makes your win even better. It's like winning a $1 million lottery compared to the $1 billion lottery. And that's what we love to see. But let's return back into round number 9, where the attackers, they're going to have to grab their map control from the top down and then begin to start funneling those defenses. And it's going to be Remy1. He's going to be spearheading that attack.
Jaeger trying to go for a little bit of fast and loose play, just having fun inside the bomb site right now. Maybe he's got an idea that the attack is trying to go for a little bit of an aggressive rush play. Slasher here inside of blue could be the first to the fight, holding this tiny angle. He's got the SMG-11 in hands, which, unless he hits the headshot, he's going to be staring at that brick wall pretty quickly with that recoil. Chooses to rotate off the angle. Maybe it'll be Taylor to tag in. Nope. They're just going to rotate out and play inside of stock, as well as getting the avenue into kitchen opened up and ready. The small steps door will be open up. MT on this smoke has been, frankly, almost unremovable, sitting inside of dirt tunnel. Though ultimately we saw his effectiveness in the last round on Church was questionable.
And here comes the defense. They are still situated all on the basement, allowing the attackers to do what they want with the floor above them. Top hatches are being opened. Those hallway connectors are being opened, as well as West Church Wall. This is exactly where Derek planted last time, and allowing him this much control is going to be a huge problem if you're a fan of Team Front. But we have seen them rebound from the past, and that's exactly what they're going to do. But looky here, it's going to be Joe on the retake of the top floor. And if Troll Team 6, if they're not aware of this, it could be their absolute undoing as the Alda starts to move closer up to that breach that Thermite made. And if the attackers do not drone them out, well, they will face all 82 bullets of lead getting spit out like a dragon or an A10 Warthog.
Seems like Niccolo is worried about this roam to come out. Oh no, he moves off at the wrong time, though. He wins the gunfight anyway. Joe will go down, the Jaeger removed, and it looks like this execution is primed and ready, though Invictus will begin to push back. The Sledge playing aggressive. Slasher to shut down Simi. Though he's not able to win the gunfight, Niccolo will help him out anyway. Yazer's still alive. Inside of blue will get cut down by Derek. It's all left up to the smoke, though missing the crucial shots with the SMG-11. It'll be Slasher with the submachine gun of his own to win the gunfight. A great round there, high-paced, incredible action to come out from Troll Team 6 as they claim a victory against Team Front. 5-4, we're only one round away from match point for Troll Team.
It looks like both defensive teams are struggling to hold basement, so maybe this is the new meta, where the attackers are so strong on their executes that the defense really has no give and take. And that's probably what we want to see, is when we start to see these attacking metas start to move through fluid. They are so dynamic. And that's one of the problems when we see new maps entered. Oregon and Theme Park are perfect examples. They become so defender-sided because the attacking meta hasn't been created, unlike a map like Clubhouse that has been in the competitive pool since day one. Now, it has had a little bit of changes. It's actually the first map to receive what was called a map buff way back in the day in season number, I believe it's actually year 2, season 2. It's been a while. I guess I'm just making myself sound even older than I am. But let's return back over to round number 10, where it's going to be a gym bedroom take. And so far, all the teams that have attempted to defend this site, they have lost. And it's curious because the site does such a good job of wasting all the attackers' utility, which is how they've been winning their attack rounds.
Heading again to Gym, we've seen them have, frankly, I mean, mixed success. A lot of the rounds we've seen on Gym have been pretty frantic and frenetic. So heading back here again, I guess they're kind of forced into this position. I could honestly see this go either way. It mostly comes down to how steadily Team Front are able to hold down the site and the way that they try to execute their strategy. What are your thoughts on attempting this bomb site?
Honestly, you have to do exactly what the defense wants. You have to use some type of hard breach on that east side of CCTV as well as Cash. You have to start to funnel the defense. The other option of that, though, is you can completely ignore it and just open up the connector window in construction, what's currently Castle Barricade. If you do that, you can essentially prevent the defense from rotating at all through that side, and the only option they have is going down through red, and that's honestly probably the stronger strategy in my opinion. Now, it's curious that Nicolo, he is going to be trying to use his own hard breaching to open up that castle barricade, but the problem with using X-Cairo pallets is they can be shot and killed for free, so it's going to have to go down to the castle barricades that push Simi away.
The bandit will fall off, and the thermite will be successful. The wall of Jacuzzi balcony now open up will put MT in a very precarious position. We've got nades on the side of Slasher, so if these ADSs, they get wasted, we could very easily see the mute player go down without much success. And Nitro Cell tossed out so close to Slasher, though he escapes with his life, thanking his lucky stars for that one to remain in the fight for another day. I'm still just waiting to see if we'll see a frag grenade get banked off the wall here and take out the mute. No ADS, it looks like, remaining, and so the frag grenades... Oh, we don't even have any left. Oh, no. Slasher is actually out. He is playing incredibly close. Makes me think he's going to try to go aggressive. You can even see that laser sight there on the wall, waiting. He will go down anyway. Whoa. What just happened?
Wow, a flurry of kills come in. It's just Invictus stuck in this 1v5, and it's gonna be an impossible scenario as the crossfires were established. I have no idea how the M590 sitting close in bathroom ended up losing that gunfight. Everything and the kitchen sink was thrown at his, but he still was alive. I have no idea, but then the wide swing with the SMG-11 just somehow beats out that M590. I am perplexed on how that round rolled on through, but here we go. It is Troll Team 6. They're going to find themselves on match point, and where do you return to? Well, obviously, you're going to have to go back to CCTV, the last site that Team Front won, and that was way back in round number 8. So hopefully they can bring out a similar strategy, but not identical. And if you start to repeat strategies, it becomes far too predictable. And hello, the 6th pick comes through. It's going to be Callie making her first presence here in what could be the last round.
Honestly, it very well could be. We're sitting right now at a 6-4 scoreline. So Troll Team, they've got a couple of opportunities. One thing to mention, that is with this match point having been established, they guarantee themselves at least a tie, which will mean they will remain undefeated. 1 win so far. We could see them go 2 wins, or, you know, even remain in that 1-win position with 2 ties, which would be not the worst spot. It wouldn't exactly be in the top number 1 overall. once we get all of the scores in the remaining matches, close it out. We'll have to wait and see, really, and we've got a lot of an opportunity here for Troll Team. They could very well just win it out, take it home here on Clubhouse. What are your thoughts? Do you think we're going to be seeing, Troll Team close it out here, or does Team Front still have a little bit of fight left in them?
I always root for the underdog, Stikla, and I'm guessing we're going to see a tie game. We're going to see Team Front win it back in the potential last 3 rounds, but we're going to have to see if they are capable of doing that. They're going to have to shut down the aggressive takes that Troll Team 6 continues to bring. Callie is already working out as the potential bandit batteries have been relinquished, at least 2 of them, but there's still 2 more in play. The active bandit tricking is going to follow up Troll Team, at least temporarily, and they can't utilize that vertical destruction because of those castle barricades. So maybe the strategy is not really working out for TT6.
Looks like the Capitao will begin the rappel up process to get on the rooftop and shut down the bandit tricking. We see him shoot out one of the asphyxiating bows, but oh no, it missed. Ouch. That is going to be a significant blow. Part of that utility removed, and we might have even seen... Okay, so the thermite was successful even with the missed firebolt there, so lucky for them. And Troll Team kind of been getting away with the luck on a couple of these rounds. They've been having the majority of it so far, and it's really helping them be as successful as possible. Not only does the main breach get opened up, I think the garage wall was opened up as well. So we've got a lot of sightlines, possible angles for Troll Team to utilize. They really have a plethora of options to take. So we'll just see how that decision-making process will go. With 1:15, Castle tears down one of his barricades, allowing his teammate to rotate. How helpful of him.
What a nice man, holding the door for his teammate, but it's soon going to be his undoing as 2 big kills coming in by the attacking roster, and maybe this is the undoing of Team Front. They're going to have to start putting their heads and guns together, and that's not what I meant, as it's 2 more kills come through. It's going to be MT stuck in this 1v5. Nitrocell is sent out, and that's going to punish an attacker, but he's still going to have to find 4 more, and the bomb plant is going to go down. The vertical destruction works both ways. SMG-11 in hand, and that's the undoing of MT. A valiant attempt, but sadly not good enough.
So, wow, what a round here. They really put all of the work necessary on MT's shoulder, and ultimately it was not enough. Troll Team 6 will end it here. Nicolo, the MVP for this matchup, and I have to agree with that. He was really fragging out, going crazy, 14-7. Look at that, barely even challenged. We've got Slasher on 11-6, MT on 11-9. What a job from him. He was ultimately so prevalent, such a strong and powerful player in this match, not only on the offense in so many of those one-sided rounds for the side of Troll Team, but also we saw him go absolutely off on the defense as well. Ultimately, with that done, Troll Team 6 will claim victory.
And that's exactly what they needed here in week number 3. Keep snowballing their wins, and they're just one spot closer to the top of the SCL leaderboard. And a valiant attempt again coming out by Team Front. They've had a slow start here, and I know that they're a team capable of greatness, but right now they just have a few issues they need to work out. But we're just waiting on a representative from TT6 to join us in the casting desk and break down what we just saw here. And unfortunately, this is our only game from the day. And here is Daddy Derek to talk with us. Welcome, my friend. We talked to you last week, and you're joining us once again.
What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing?
Wonderful. Congrats on your win. You seem to keep bringing them up. Now, I gotta know, off your defense on Gym Bedroom, what was the idea behind that?
I mean, I don't think there's any specific idea behind it. We just kind of like that site. Then we got our teeth kicked in, so we didn't really want to.
Fair enough. I mean, I thought you were just trying to change it. The meta threw off their operator picks or something along that line, but I fully understand that you're trying to go with sites that you are comfortable with.
Yeah, I could say probably a little bit of both, but I mean, in the end, we like Gym Bedroom, so we just kind of like to play it first usually.
That's fair. So quick question. I wanted to ask, really, what is the key standing out for your team to have so many rounds go so one-sided? I mean, I think we saw one or two flawless rounds, and a lot of them were, 4 versus 1 in the last couple of seconds there. What is your team doing to achieve that?
I mean, the good thing about my team is I can trust them to win gunfights if I put them in the right position. So, as on defense, we were just letting them get too much map control. And once we switched up what like our standard holds would be, they kind of stuffed them and they didn't really know what to do, it seemed like. Then we went to attacks. It was kind of the same thing. That first attack round just felt kind of like meh for us. Like we just weren't really meshing. Like we didn't really do the right thing. So I just literally switched up our pace completely, changed our operators, changed the ideas of what we want to do with each other. And then honestly, it just comes down to like putting each of those players in the right position. I mean, all the guys on my team can shoot back. Like none of them, I ever fear of them losing a gunfight. Yeah, it happens. But once we stop just letting them walk around the map on us and walking into our blind spots, it kind of just changed the tide of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point to bring up, talking about blind spots. It seemed like, I'm trying to figure out on my notes here, it was on round number 6? Round number 4, it was a church defense. Vigil was just allowed to kind of hang out and persist, and it didn't seem like Team Front really did anything to try to clear him out. Can you tell me what have you got about that round, and what sort of was going through your team's head when Vigil's just kind of roaming and hanging out with nobody pushing him?
Well, like I said, it seemed like their Yana, which was I can't remember exactly who it was, but he was like having the game of his life, and he was just walking around the map killing us. So I basically told my team like, yo, like just sit in weird places. And I feel like they're just going to walk around the map and they're not going to drone you. And it almost seemed like they did exactly that, because it seemed as soon as we just kind of started hanging out in places that just were common, but like they weren't really droning, we just started winning rounds. Like, and that's where Vigil was just sitting there. Like nobody really pressured him. He just kind of walked behind someone, I'm pretty sure, and got a free pick. And then I don't know if he's able to get another one, but he then cut off so much of the map for them, and they had to push him out at some point. So just like super weird tactics, I guess, but in the sense of it just kind of what we needed to work at the time being. So that's what we did.
So probably dreading this question, but I have to ask, round number 6, it was on Jim just before the side switch. What happened in that round? Because we saw you sprinting around in the last 20 seconds with the Keratos on the Wamai.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I got yelled at for that one, but it's all good. I mean, I saw what was going through my head was I got killed the diffuser. The diffuser was down in bathroom. I didn't have time to reload. I got the call that they were in Logi. Like I got the call that they just rotated into Logi. So I figured it was in the rotate to con. So that to me was, I had enough time to get down the stairs, and I knew where the diffuser was. So I was basically looking at the time, and I knew like, hey, he's never gonna have time to get the diffuser and get a plant down like we won this round. But the guy was literally right on Logi door. So I died and lost the round for us. So it was unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is. I can't be
It
upset
happens,
about it.
yeah.
Happens to the best of us, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Kind of an awkward situation. So after that round, what were your team's thoughts and kind of your game plan switching sides?
There's some cursing going on in the comms, like a lot of what are we doing right now? Like kind of confused at why we were playing the way we were, and like giving like certain control up, like not winning our ones, like just simple stuff that we usually are normally doing. So going into the split, we just figured, hey, like let's just go back to our basics and see what we need to do, and see what we can improve on going into attack. Because obviously there's two sides to every map, so even if you lose the first half, it's not really a huge deal. With a Thatcher and Maverick ban on Clubhouse, you typically see it kind of waver in this side of defense. But I think in this meta now, I don't think most teams get out like way ahead on defense. I think it can go 3-3 split just fine. So we weren't really worried or anything like that, but we definitely knew something needed to change, because we're not normally giving up 3 rounds on defense on Clubhouse with those bans. So we had to change something.
Right. So tell me a little bit about your thoughts coming into the bans. We saw it was Thatcher, Maverick, Cade, and the Valkyrie. What were your thoughts? I mean, picking your bans as well as, fighting against them.
Well, Thatcher is pretty much like an auto ban on that map. I mean, we scrim without him. We scrim with him all the time, so we're comfortable with or without him. It just, for a lot of the strats we ran today, we needed the Thatcher gone. So that really affected that. Maverick, we could care less if he's banned or not. He doesn't really affect us. He doesn't hurt our strats. He doesn't help our strats really. On attack, we switch our strats up if he's on the board, but on defense, we don't really change anything. So it's just fine to keep the Maverick on or off the board. It doesn't really matter to us. But the Cade ban is a little different. We definitely like Cade on the board, and if Cade is on the board, we probably get 5 out of 6 rounds on defense. So our strats do change a little bit when Cade's off the board, but we're by no means not uncomfortable without or with it. So definitely not a huge deal.
Cool. So my final, I might have even asked you about it when you played versus Powerhouse on Clubhouse, but I think it might have been the first church defense, we saw you bring out this rotation strategy where you open up the front of the church wall so you can kind of play pretty loosely here. Give me your thoughts on that. And, we did see Team Front, they kind of played pretty well into it and were able to use it to get free control of the bomb site. What are your thoughts on that?
That strat is kind of like it's kind of dangerous. Like it's got its ups and downs, of course, but if people are feeling themselves, like that it's pretty tough to beat. It's tough to get good control of because we're winning our ones. But in that situation, Team Front actually did a really good job of attacking it. And our Jaeger, which was Rhyme, he was just trolling, it seemed like. So he just died like instantly. And it was kind of confusing, but we're like, it's whatever. But at the same time, like I was pretty out of position on that as well. And Nicolo wasn't in the perfect position either. So they did attack it really well, but we just weren't in the right positions, and one of our teammates was trolling. So it's not a good showing of that strat. But also, I don't know, maybe they saw it on Powerhouse. They were like, oh, hey, like we could take this if we just do this. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I was thinking. They had VOD reviewed on it and kind of prepared to deal with it. But ultimately, hey, you were able to come out on top, 7-4 victory. Like I said, congrats on the win. I hope to see you again in the casting booth. Wow, 3 interviews in one season. We're not even, a quarter of the way done. It's got to be something like a record so far. Have a good night, man, and what a great game from you guys.
Appreciate it. You'll see me around, I'm sure.
Cheers. Take care. I'll hold you to that.
All right, sounds good.
Well, Jinx, game is over. What a close one. I mean, ultimately, some of those rounds, it seemed like Team Front, they were really in command. I think we saw a couple of them go flawlessly, but ultimately, switching sides, when they were defending, they kind of fumbled their lead, and we ultimately did see Troll Team make the major comeback. A lot of those rounds on Troll Team's attacking side, they were just in the lead, and it didn't seem like there was anything that Team Front could put in their way to stop them. But that's all that we have for tonight. We've got a couple of games later in the week. If I go ahead and take a look at the schedule, Sunday, if everything remains the same for the schedule, will be quite a banger. We've got 3 matches in Control Nation versus Unreal Nightmare, which will be followed by Unreal Nightmare Academy versus Tactical Banditry, and then finally will be Homeland versus Sealaw Central for that game. So you've got 3 great ones to look forward to tomorrow. That will start at 6 o'clock p.m. EST. Make sure to tune in for that. Later in the week, next week, we've got August 10th. That'll be Monday. Team Remedy versus Prism Esports. Following that on Tuesday, should be Akara Gaming here. Look forward to those great 3 games coming out on Sunday. I'll be sure to be tuning in, and I hope to see you joining us too. Thank you for casting with me tonight, Chief. A great game, and ultimately had a ton of fun.
It's always a pleasure, my friend, but that's going to do it for us. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and we'll be back at you soon.